speeches. Before we move forward with that, I would love to hear from the timer what the timing rules are for our speaker today.
Absolutely. Our speaker today will have 4 to 6 minutes for his speech. At 4 minutes, he will see the green, which I'll bring up later. At 5, the yellow, and at 6, he will see the red. Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Timer. All right, for our speaker today, our prepared speaker is embarking on a new pathway, visionary communication. Giving his icebreaker for his new pathway, please welcome Ed Lee.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, less than 2 years after being admitted to Cal Berkeley as a computer science major at the time, I was kicked out due to poor academic performance. After several months of soul searching, I decided to enlist in the United States Air Force in the spring of 1999, not knowing what else to do with myself. Then in 2000, at a volunteer event in Seattle, I found my answer. Fellow Wavemakers, I'd like to share with you the story of how I became an actuary. It was 2000 and I was entering my second year in the Air Force. At the time, I was also working a second job on the weekend as a Wells Fargo bank teller. One day I saw this antiquated printed flyer for Christmas in April where volunteers would help renovate someone's home. I decided to volunteer. The event took place on Saturday and I remember it was a cool sunny day. I was one of 20 to 30 volunteers, all from various departments of Wells Fargo. I was one of the few bank tellers who volunteered, as most of the volunteers were from the corporate office. I forget how, but I remember chatting with this one girl at the event who worked at corporate Wells Fargo in Seattle, and we were chatting about her work in the office, and I think she was some sort of accountant. I remember asking her if she knew any math majors who worked there. She said, "We have actuaries in the office. I don't know what they do, but they major in math and they make pretty good money." Here's a photo of the event from an internal Wells Fargo newsletter, and I'm right here. This took place on a bright sunny day in April 2000, and it'd be a day that would alter my life. This was the first time I ever heard of an actuary. I don't even know what the word was. The following week, I remember asking my lieutenant and captain in the finance squadron about actuaries, and all they knew was that it involved getting a math degree. For the next year, I researched all I could about actuaries, and here's what I found. Well, and it didn't involve sales, it was all analytical work. Generally, actuaries have a quantitative degree like in statistics, economics, or mathematics. And they work in banks and insurance companies, working on life insurance, workers' comp, annuities, auto, home, and health insurance. And they take exams which are needed to become a credentialed actuary. I found my path. Although I was kicked out of Berkeley due to bad grades, I always did well in my math classes. So this was my plan I set in motion. 1, leave active duty service honorably. I could have left dishonorably, but I didn't want that to happen. 2, I had to attend California Community College for 2 semesters because this was a requirement for readmission back to Berkeley. Step 3, reapply for admission to Berkeley. And lastly, I would earn my math degree with a focus on actuarial science. So step 1, leave active duty honorably. I had 3 years left on my enlistment, and the only way out honorably was a program called PALS Chasing. PALS Chasing was a program that allowed active duty members to convert their remaining time to the reserves. Now, one requirement for PALS Chasing was that I had to be a citizen, and at the time, the timing was perfect because I was getting my citizenship in 2001. So in 2001, I got naturalized as a US citizen on September 6, 2001. That week, I was excited. I planned to file all my paperwork to PALS Chase the following week, and I knew my life path was finally being set in motion. But then on Tuesday, 9/11 happened. Immediately afterwards, all branches of the military implemented something called stop loss, freezing all members in their place during a time of war. It was the most conflicting feeling in the world for me. We were attacked, and being in the military, I wanted to do my part to defend America. But I was crestfallen because right after 9/11, stop loss was implemented, and I had no idea how long the Afghan war would last. Thankfully, the war was over in a matter of months, along with stop loss. I plan to continue my PALS Chase application, but my squadron commander, a major, did me an absolute solid. He knew of my wish to PALS Chase to go back to school, and he offered me the opportunity to separate a year early. By doing this, the squadron would be a man short for the remainder of the year, but he did this as a favor for me, and I was incredibly grateful. So less than a year after the Afghan war and before whispers of the Iraqi war, I separated honorably. Here's my TD-214, which Josh is familiar with. Step 2 was to attend California Community College for 2 semesters. So I enrolled in 2000 in Pierce College in Woodland Hills. I got straight A's. Next, I had to apply for readmission to Berkeley. So I applied in the summer of 2003 with my experience in the Air Force and straight A's from Pierce College noted on my application, and I was formally accepted in the fall. And lastly, I earned my bachelor's degree with a focus in actuarial science. So what's next? Well, I've been in actuary for over 15 years now, and I like to share what I've learned. I work in health insurance, a trillion-dollar industry that few understand, and I believe I have a unique perspective on insurance as well as this industry. Now, health insurance is a dense topic, but I look forward to sharing my perspective on this industry in my upcoming speeches. So thank you everyone for your time, and I look forward to progressing in my visual communications pathway with all of you. Madam Toastmaster.